Hey everyone, hope you're having a great weekend. Just wanted to go in some charts and show you kind of what I'm looking at in crypto and in the stock market. We have a lot of earnings coming up this week. We have Lululemon, we have Micron Technology, we have Nike. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. We also have the Fed data coming up, which is FOMC rate hike decision is on Tuesday at 2, along with the Powell press conference. So that's going to be huge for markets. Powell always, well, not, can't say always, but typically the market is extremely volatile when Powell is giving a speech. So I'm going to be looking for tons of opportunities there. And I'm going to just study and try to set myself up this week so I can be in the best position possible. I'm going to start off with SPY here. You can see we're still in this uptrend, and look where SPY came down to. I had it hitting 50, like 507, and it's right about 509 is what it closed at, but we closed right on this trend line. What I'm hoping for is tomorrow we get a nice push in markets with Nvda GTC conference starting, which is a 4-day conference, and with SMCI joining the S&P 500. I currently have calls in SMCI. So the close on Friday scared me a little because it just shows me we might not get the huge push pre-market that I was hoping for. I wanted to see like an 8 or 9% pre-market move up. But this is SPY, and what I'm thinking with SPY, we got this kind of top trend of this ascending wedge as well. Oops. Just show you this too. I just started with TradingView, and it's a lot faster, and I like it. It's a little easier to use than those other Moo and stuff I was using. So we kind of got this upper trend line. This is why I was thinking we were at a top, temporary top. And I think as long as we hold this bottom trend, next stop would be about 523, 524 on SPY. Now, financial advice, I could be wrong. So that's SPY. I want to show you what I saw in Bitcoin and why I made that video saying I think Bitcoin's about to pull back. What I was looking at was this upper trend line here I had drawn. You see how we came all the way up to it and then hit a new 52-week high and then dropped. And now I do think this pullback is temporary, and I think it's a technical pullback, like I said yesterday. Currently, Bitcoin it's pushing up pretty good. On the 5-minute, I'll show you in a minute, but I want to show you some of the trends I'm seeing here. So we got this upper trend line, and we have, here, let me zoom in here. Right now, it is reacting right where it needs to. Let me move this. Right where it needs to on the 21 MA. It's sitting right on top of it. Now, what I usually see with stocks after they have a big breakout like Bitcoin has, I like this. The technicals typically have to reset. So we could either react here and continue back up, which would be to the come on, it's so high I can't even see it in the chart, which would be about 78K, or we could come down and test this 50 MA. And worst case scenario for bulls would be we come down and test the 200, and you see how we have this trend here and we have this trend here. So what I think is we might stair step down, retest the 200. That's when the halving comes, and then we rip back up. You can see the MACD just crossed, and the MACD has a trend line too as well. See that? How is it? Oh, kind of there. And it could set up, I think, maybe come down to about there, and then continue upwards. Hopefully, not financial advice. So that's what I was seeing with Bitcoin on the 5-minute. 5 minutes making a nice push right now. Kind of want to show you what I'm seeing here. All right, so when we got the downtrend I was looking for, and you can see we're this is kind of the new trend I saw, and we're breaking out of that now, which is good. And the 50 just crossed the 200 right here. So what you want to see for an upward continuation is for this to come down, test the 50, test the 200, and then rip back up and get over 70. But the daily chart is showing it could still pull back. But we just have to see how things play out the rest of the day. And next week heading into Powell. I'm going to have a much better understanding of what's going to happen. And I'm going to show you the other way I can tell we could be going back up is this new trend that we made here. So we could push up, and the 50 and the 200 will come up, and then when we test, we'll still hold this trend, maybe. So that's what I'm seeing there. I want to show you SMCI. So SMCI's close on Friday was not what I wanted to see. They dumped it. So if you were in puts on Friday, congratulations. I want to show you what I did. Okay, so on Friday, come on. So we got the cross here. We came down, we came back, retested it, and then I knew it wasn't going to hold because the 50 didn't cross the 200 again. And then it tanked back down. Came back up, but I want to show you when it tanked down. This is when I got calls because I saw this trend here. I think it was this trend. Hang on. Yeah, kind of. I think that goes even further back. Yeah. Well, we'll just set it there. I had this trend line. So on Friday when it hit that and it didn't drop below, I wanted to see it break down below that and then come back and retest before I got calls. But it held right here. And I would have waited for it to come back and retest and get puts. But with the S&P inclusion on Monday, I didn't want to get puts. I wanted to get calls. And I think the reason the move happened like this is that they tricked a lot of people here, because a lot of people were probably looking at this holding this trend. They loading calls, comes up, looks like it's going to break through. It looked like the 50 was going to cross because Nvda's did, and then they just rip the bottom out and drop it. Let's look at Nvda. I want to show you the daily on SMCI. One thing that kind of does worry me on the daily is this. So we have this upwards trend. Well, now that I'm looking at it on the computer, it doesn't worry me as much. My phone is a little different. So you got to make these trends so they hit every point. Well, I do. Well, actually, I mean, it's kind of the same thing as Bitcoin. You got this, like if you look at Bitcoin here. See how Bitcoin, there's a few trends happening. We have a trend line here, which is holding. It could bounce up. We also have this trend here, which would put it down around the 50 at 58K. And then we have this bottom trend line, which is where the 200's sitting, which is about 48 to 50K. And you look at SMCI, it's kind of similar because we have that trend there and the 50's here. We have this trend here. So I'm hoping to see it hold that. But technically, it might come down and touch the 21 like Bitcoin's doing right now, which would put it around 1,027, which I don't want to see, because then I just have to sit through that and see that I missed an opportunity for cheaper calls. But I might get more if we do dip at first, because I think Nvda is holding up well. going into the conference. It's holding this trend. This upwards. The only thing is you have this little blip here where it lost it. Scared everybody thinking it's going to come down and touch the 50 and then rip back up, which could happen with Bitcoin too. So a couple things I'm looking at. Also, Nvda just got this cross on the MACD, but if you see, this is where it got it before too. So come down to 21 at 826 and then rip back up, which is interesting because that could happen the day of Powell's speech, Tuesday. So I'm hoping to see Powell's speech be good for the markets because I do think this is a temporary pullback and a technical reset. So things can continue back up. RSI just broke through 70, but it's RSI has a trend here too. If you want to see this trend it's holding, I think as long as the RSI holds that, we're good. Just want to go into Regeneron. This is when I got puts in on Friday. The reason I got puts is on the daily here. You can see we lost this trend. We did not hold it like Nvda and Smci are. And the MACD is coming down. RSI is coming down. You see on the RSI's trend, you got this trend here, and it lost that as well. So what I'm hoping to see minimum is for REGN to come down to about 940. Now, if it loses that 50, I could see it coming down and hitting this trend line here, which would make sense for the 200 to go up and hit about 904. But what I'd really like to see is it come down and touch this trend around 840s. So things like that have happened. I'm going to see if I can show you. Here we go. So here's a similar pattern. You had this upwards trend here. It lost it, fought a little, and then dropped down. Didn't touch the 200, which to me, stocks always have to do that. They always have to retest the 200. Comes back up. Now we test. Come back up. And then we lose the 200, but we're still holding on here. Dancing around the 50. And that's a successful retest pretty much for long term. Pops back up. Pops back up, and then we get this upwards trend the rest of the way. And you can see how it tests this, and we have this longer trend as well. So that's Regeneron. Oh, the VIX. I want to see. The VIX is interesting. So if you look at the VIX was really telling, and why I was thinking we were going to pull back last week. But look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Comes up, tests the 200, fails, comes back down, comes up, tests. Now when we get that golden cross on the VIX, the market's going to be bearish, I think. But it's just holding this trend so well. And look at where we're at here. I mean, what I'm hoping is for Monday, Tuesday, we push here and then come down, touch this, and then I think we'll bounce again. And what else do we got? NASDAQ. NASDAQ's holding this trend line. Just want to see, because I don't like to miss these bottom points. So technically it lost that. However, I mean the 50's right here. Something tells me we could pull back first Monday, but I could be wrong. Not financial advice. This is just what I'm looking at. I want to look at. Let's look at Lululemon, because that's a fun one to play on earnings. So it's a pretty volatile company. Let's add them in here. Okay, yeah. And look what Lululemon's doing on the daily. And look at the MACD. The MACD's coming to curl up. It came down, tested this 50 and the 21. Hopefully we come down and test this 200 and then rip up the other way. Let's see what we got on the top. So you got this channel you can kind of see. So I think if earnings are good, Lululemon's just been on a tear lately too. So if this earnings are good, we could come back up to the top of this trend, which I can't even see because it's too. Let me see. Can I make this bigger? Yeah, which would be all the way up to 540. Oops. Man. All right. Well, I can't move it now, I guess. There we go. Which would be all the way up to the, I think what we could do is react off this bottom trend. Hopefully we see a push down to this trend and then a rip up for earnings. That would be nice. I might play in that. And MSTR, MicroStrategy. So this is what I was seeing and why I was, a few days ago, I said I think we're nearing a temporary top in Bitcoin. Because same as Bitcoin. You could draw it. You could put this trend in a couple places like there. This is why I was thinking we might be near a top. And it looks like we're going to have a little bit continued downward moves. The thing with this is if we do drop, and I'm in puts in MSTR right now. Not saying it's going to happen, but technically it's possible with these trends. Man, their chart's just so crazy you can barely even put a trend line. Put that there. And similar to Bitcoin, we had this upwards trend. But we're holding up pretty good on that. So the reason I got puts is we came up and hit this top of the trend. It was different on my phone. So I was hoping for a drop down. I mean, the 21's all the way down here. Like if MicroStrategy temporary does go bullet or bearish, whew, it would be nice for the downside. I mean, because if we just come down to the 21 to retest, we're sitting at 1180. The 50's all the way down here at 910, and the 200 is sitting at 557. And MicroStrategy can move. I turned 250 into $13,000 before this big move came up. I bought at 545. I think I bought calls for the next week out, and it ran up to 900 in like 4 days. That was amazing. But I stayed away from it for some reason because it already ripped. I was like, man, why didn't I just stick with MicroStrategy? All you had to do was buy calls every day. I just want to see the MACD here. So the MACD, we're ripping up through the MACD. The RSI is up, and you see how the RSI is holding this trend, but you're starting to have this little bit of it needs to rip up above this to continue upwards, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. And I think if it does not take out this top on the RSI, the MACD is going to cross, and we're going to get that down move to retest and reset indicators, which to me is just way more opportunities to buy and to get in on some discounts. Because the market is still bullish to me. I think this is the trend I had on my phone. But I know stocks have to technically come back and retest and reset the indicators, let the RSI cool off before the next big move up, which I think is going to be for the halving. And then we have this upper trend line. I can't even get to it on the chart unless I can somehow. Which would be all the way up over 2,000. So MicroStrategy, if it drops, I'm thinking I'm going to be buying at least calls and maybe something else. What else? Ethereum. Ethereum's similar to Bitcoin. However, Ethereum looks a little bit stronger to me. Well, we're losing this trend here. Same thing. Everything's going to touch technicals, in my opinion. And we got those trends, and then with Ethereum as well, we got this upper trend of the channel, kind of like a megaphone. So what I'm thinking is we could come all the way down and test 2600. That would technically still be bullish. Now, if we lose this bottom trend, then we can come all the way down. But I don't think that's going to happen. But it could be wrong. You never know. Market can change quick, too. So you always just got to be alert and just constantly be checking, making sure everything's staying in the conditions you need for your thesis, your theory. Tesla, man, they fooled me. They fooled a lot of people. Because you can see here. So Tesla's got this. We'll just start there because I can't reach the top. I'll get better at using TradingView. It's pretty nice. So you got Tesla. Oh wait, this is wrong. I forget I'm on the daily chart. So Tesla's got this gap here at 506 or 207. So they announced Elon got shares. So that made me think. And that was right about, let's see. Hang on, sorry. Man. So we actually did lose that bottom trend line, but that could just be like a fake out, like what you saw with Nvda. So we're in this channel here. So right here, I started getting calls, far out calls, because I thought we were going to come up, fill that gap. I thought the 50 was going to come up and cross the 200, and we come up to this trend line at about 240. Now we came all the way down and tested this, and if you look at Tesla, look what it does every time it reacts. Comes down to the bottom trend, everybody's bearish, everybody thinks it's going to tank, and it rips back up. So I think there's some opportunity in Tesla. I wish I would have waited, because I thought this downtrend was going to be over when we were here, but instead it came up halfway, faked everyone out, and then they just ripped the bottom out. So yeah, that's Tesla. There's a lot of stuff happening this week, a lot of opportunity. I'm going to make videos during the day. Just wanted to kind of go into what I look at on charts, and I probably missed a lot of things that I normally do go over, and sorry about that. I'm just going over a couple things, but just in regards to Tesla losing that bottom trend line, look what Nvda did. Faked people out, came down below this trend, and ripped back up. Eventually, we have to come down and test the 50 and test the 200. Eventually. All stocks do it. You can look at previous history. Every time they break out, they come back and test. Down, down, test, rip. And sometimes that test can take a while. I hope we don't get that because I'm enjoying the volatility in the stocks, but it's tough to say where we're at right now. I'll keep looking, monitoring, seeing if anything changes, and seeing what I can do to help mitigate our losses. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. I hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you so much for all the subscribers. We're almost at 150, which is awesome. I'm just going to continue trying to improve every day, get better, mitigate risk, and improve gains. The nice thing about the past few weeks is my wins have been crushing my losses. So things don't always play out the way you want. And what I learned last week is it's best to be patient. They say fools rush in. And it's just best to be patient. Because if I would have waited, like on the thing on Smci, I just wanted to go over this real quick on Friday. I told myself to, I'll buy at the end of the day. But when I saw it come down, is this the 5 minute? When I saw it come down and test this trend here, I think I went over SMCI with you guys, didn't I? So when it held this, I was like, okay, I'll get calls now. Monday's S&P inclusion. I think the 50 will come up across the 200 and we'll come back up to this area, 1200. And then what I was hoping for is a continuation up from this. Well, I'll fix this. What I wanted to see is us get back into this overall channel. See this overall upwards channel, because we did lose it a little, but technically we still, man, all these lines. Let me delete these. Oh. So see this trend? When we held this, I got calls because I was like, okay, we're going back up. Nvda just crossed the 50, crossed up through the 200. Nvda was looking bullish, and then they smacked us. But we got this bottom trend. I'm hoping we don't come down and test this 1028. I would not like that. But what I'm hoping to see on SMCI is, let me just real quickly, I'm hoping to get back up into this upward channel, which would be about 1300. Just show you this real quick on the daily. And this is why I was assuming we were going to hit 1300, at least 1320. I'll show you here quick. Come on, computer. Okay. Let's do this. We got this upper part of the channel. It's kind of like, let's put it there. So I was hoping we'd come all the way back up and test this right around 1300, 1328 up here. That's what I'm hoping to see. We'll see. Good luck, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I'll try to keep you posted throughout the week, and I hope you make money. I hope we make money, and have a great weekend. Thank you, guys.